just saying,
You need to get a
It's so
mechanical
impressive.
arm. Just.
I don't know, this, you guys know, I like watching.
You need like a catchy catchphrase when you're sliding across.
I think the Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, yeah, theme song, that'd be great.
All right, open up classified negotiations again. This public meeting is being recorded in accordance with Montana law. All those attendants are advised that the public portions of this meeting will be recorded in audio format. By remaining in the meeting, those present consent to being recorded and displayed in footage that will be posted on the school district's website. Please contact the district office if you have any questions concerning Hamilton School District's reporting obligations under Montana's open meeting law. Okay. Amen.
All right, you have a copy of the agenda. So first is, these are the minutes. I guess one more. For reference, here are notes from Union.
Extra copies. Okay. That was kind of neat. Thank you.
Any questions about minutes or any
Still going over 'em.
clarifications?
That's looking good so far. Okay, that's good.
Okay. So we agree on minutes? Good there, okay. Let's just take a minute to look at that list of tentative agreements. I think we're there on those topics. I think that's reflected in the minutes as well.
I think so, just double checking that we haven't, we might update the new proposals to put them on this agenda. Okay. So we'd like to strike through item 3C, holidays, and we can put in 27, Article 27, Labor Management Relations Committee, there. Is there a new proposal? Article 27. Labor Management Committee, or Labor Management Relations Committee.
Okay.
And
Tell me, do you want to start to talk about that, or do you want to start with item A, or do you want to go first?
and I will add that 3D will have a package proposal that
Okay.
will mostly be attachment A, but other articles as well. So,
Okay.
I don't know if you just want to put package proposal. Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start out with the union leave.
Okay.
And so you offered me 3 additional
3 days.
days.
Yep, 3 days.
All right. So when I figured out what we were talking about, as far as the full 8 days, it's like $1,120 when you equate it to money. If we're looking at 1 day, it's $140. For $140, Dave, I'm not gonna equivalent raise your blood pressure and my blood pressure over it. So 3 additional days would give us 4 days total. If you'll go with that, I'm done. I'm happy with it.
I can agree to that.
You can agree to that? Okay, all right. 1 down,
So it's 4 total.
4 total. I talked to Kristen Haverstadt, who is the outgoing president of the union, and asked her about what was going, how do they do the NFPE days? And of course, they have 4 delegates that they're allowed. And she did send people 2023 and 2024. She did not send anybody for the 2025 school year. So when you're considering that they have twice the number of delegates that we would have, we'll make the 4 days work just perfectly.
Okay.
Okay?
There
Sounds
is additional language here, it's highlighted, and it's printed in red. The district shall make every attempt to schedule wine-garden meetings outside of the contract day. However, if these meetings should need to occur during work hours, the union representative shall not clock out. And that's per our conversation last meeting, that we discussed whether or not currently union representatives are supposed to clock out, and they are. So we're asking that they don't have to. But making every attempt to schedule outside of the contract day so that we can.
So the priority would be to be outside the contract. I just want to say, with consideration that understanding the context of what that meeting may look like and I guess estimating the length of the meeting, I don't want that to negatively impact students and not being able to get resources that they need during that time, but I can agree to that.
I guess if I can just jump in on that one thing that I would add is that,
Yeah.
I think the expectation from the district side would be that the union members, are open to meeting outside of the contract day. Because, many times we'll try to schedule it within the contract day so that it doesn't interfere with, their non-contracted hours. So,
Do we need to modify any language here?
it's up to you all, but.
Can we, let me read this one more time.
Scheduling it outside the contracted hours can lead to a lot of requests for rescheduling, and we are entitled to have those meetings. So I guess that if it's unnecessarily restrictive in the ability for us to schedule the meetings, that would be the concern. If everyone's on the same page, like if your members are on the same page and they're willing to come before contract hours or after contract hours, I guess I assume that has already been considered if you're making the proposal.
Pam, is that accurate?
As far as the meetings that I've been involved in, there have been a few that have been during the school day. And then I've had one or two that have been after school. So I think it depends on the admin person and the person that's being talked to or about. To would be the better word.
Yeah.
Talk to.
Um,
As far as there's urgency in there or just, just what?
So the district would make every effort to have the meeting occur after hours or before hours, so outside of the contracted day. And I guess my request would be that the union understands that that's the priority or agrees that that's the priority, and we will make every effort to make that happen outside of the contract. And the caveat for me is knowing that if it is a lengthy meeting, that we really, really try to make sure that that happens after
Right.
contract day.
Well, I would say that it would be the admin person who's going to be able to determine how long that meeting
Yeah.
would last and how, just where it's going to go. If there's severity to it, those are tough.
Yeah.
Those are tough when there's some severity to it. If it's just an understanding, this is ABC, and you're going to agree to it, then yeah, it's ABC and we're done and that's fine. But sometimes it doesn't quite go that simply.
Agreed, I totally agree. Yeah, we will make every effort to schedule those afterwards.
So I'm sorry, and I wasn't at the first one, so I don't know the ground rules, but in just hearing what was being said, there is a reason to clock out, but there's a clock in and a clock out, because don't they need to have the job code so that they?
It's essentially switching jobs, because Pam, you've done that several times,
Right.
where you switch from your regular position to a union business job code.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily that you're clocking out, you're still clocked in, just under a different classification for those meetings.
Okay,
Because that would be how you.
Tracking.
so is the pay then, does it come out of a different pocket? Or does it still all come out of the same fund?
It comes out of a different accounting line than your library accounting, yes.
Okay,
It would keep track of those 4 days.
okay.
So how can we clarify that in language here if we need to specify any payroll information in here, or is that something that we need to do?
So while on union business, you need to be under the job code of.
Union businesses.
Yeah, union business, as simple as that. So basically, I am clocking out of being a library para and then put the union
But still
hat.
paid, but still paid, but
Yes,
just paid differently.
yes. Just a
So
different
how
accounting line.
about a statement notifying the district of that meeting and the time? The time that you clock
Right.
in and the time that you clock out.
Lisa, the union representative will be on the correct job.
Yeah.
Job code. That's really what's boiling down. They're just switching.
So just saying that, making sure that while functioning as the union rep,
Right.
it's
So-
that job code.
Let's have it read this way. The union representative shall clock out to union business.
Perfect.
Does that make it pretty simple there for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You okay with that, Kathy? Okay.
So with the updated statement about clocking to union business,
Mhm. That works for you,
it works for me.
works for me.
So, agreement on that? With
The
the
TA?
TA, with the change in wording?
So is that clear? The representative shall clock out to union
Union
business. So assuming that you're clocking in then
Right,
to union.
union business
Okay, as long as there's notes on it and the intent is.
is there to, yeah, we're changing from one to the other.
And we're happy with the language, because we have the notes on it that the union will understand that the priority is to make every attempt to do these meetings, especially the long ones outside of contract hours.
Yeah,
It's good
so
as it
when we
is.
provide notice, we're going to schedule those outside of contract time, and if that's not workable, then we would have to figure that out, but then that would trigger us having to have you clock to union business.
Right.
Okay.
So,
You want me to do the union, the insurance benefit that we had talked about, or am I jumping too far ahead?
We're correct. That's right.
Right, because we should be at the,
Let's see. This is, well, on the agenda here. Oh, yeah, that's right.
thanks.
okay, and so that's what we had tabled on, that wasn't the reopening of the insurance,
If there was an increase of
Increase,
6%.
right?
And that was tricky because there were so many plans and essentially you'd be bargaining every year, most likely, after year 2.
I would agree, just reading the last week or so, health insurance premiums, costs, on average, wage and, benefit and premiums are increasing at a rate of 3 times higher than wages. It's an issue that's not, solely resting with the Hamilton School District. It
No,
rests, in every organization across the country. But I understand that, but we would be, my fear would be that if we're opening every year, we're opening to discuss a situation that we can't fix. And I think that it just leads to continued frustration.
Okay, so when you're looking at our stipend or payment on that for the 27-28 year, it would be like $730. The teachers for the 27-28 year are $915. So when I asked them, well, how did you figure what they were doing? And I was told that the way that their amounts were to cover a single person on a plan with the highest deductible possible. And that way, that particular employee as a single would have their insurance premium covered. Doesn't cover the family, the kids, the whoever, but just that one person. So I wasn't sure if the 730 is going to cover that, and that we not,
For the high deductible plan, the cost is, don't quote me on this, it's $590-ish.
590.15.
Okay, all right, so we're good there.
So so this is well within that, and
Okay.
actually offers the opportunity for ancillary coverages as well for
Okay.
the district benefits.
Jen doesn't like the use of the word ancillary coverages. It would cover vision and dental. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay,
Ancillary would be the things that are not pre-tax,
got it.
as I learned when I
So it's
stated.
basically that vision,
Yeah.
dental, and so on, all right.
Okay.
Okay,
So with your proposal, I would like to give you, let's see, first, a few options. So, kind of a similar line of thinking. So I have attachment A, and I've included some options for your consideration, one of which is very similar to what you're offering here. And the 27-28. So option A has an increase in 26-27. As well as 27-28,
Okay.
but it comes with that wage table,
okay,
okay? The others options do not include an adjustment to insurance. But there's some language there, one of which is just to continue with the retention bonus for 2 more years and freeze wages as is. That would be option B. Option C would be to adjust or keep the retention bonus for year 1. And then in year 2, 27-28, a 1.5% increase on the wage. And Pam, I know this, to be honest with you, is probably not what you were expecting in terms of the increase or the offer. The levies have put us in a precarious situation, and looking at our general fund budget from this year to next year, we are running $200,000 below.
yes, 226,000, I think, to be
Yes,
closer.
And so we have to be able to cover increases from steps, and those sorts of things. And so it's, we are not in a position to make large changes. It's just the reality of our financial situation.
Well, then I won't ask you for the original 18% increase that I was going to with the hope that our starting wage would be at least $20
Sure,
$20
sure.
an hour. And I seem to remember somewhere you said to me that you were not looking to attract a lot of incoming folks, but really keeping the ones that you have.
Yeah, there is value in keeping people that have been here, and value in training and experience, and all of those things matter. And so, which is really behind the idea of the retention. We would just be changing the language to reflect the years and those sorts of things, but the language would stay the same. So like when you're looking at option B, we would just keep the language to reflect the 26, 27, and 27, 28 year. But that would come with freezing wages as is. It's really, we're trying to maintain our staffing as much as possible.
And so the retention bonus is what, I think it's in the current contract. So I'm curious what percentage that retention bonus would be.
I think it's reflected in the contract, so.
3%.
Yeah, it's,
I know it's in a previous contract.
I would like to extend that language into this contract.
Okay. Okay.
But in all reality, an increase in the insurance benefit is part of that puzzle too. So, you know, increasing the insurance, we have to consider that along with retention bonuses. That's just why I have that first option with an increase in retention. But-
Okay, so option A is gonna pick up the, medical at 7:15 and 7:30. And then we're looking at the 3% retention bonus on that one?
No,
No,
no. So in option A, so that is an adjustment to the 26, 27 benefit amount and the 27, 28 benefit amount. And then we would reflect that wage table. And that is frozen in year one in 26, 27. And then in 27, 28, that is a 1.5% increase. So there is no retention bonus in that option,
okay.
okay? So option B then has the wage table staying the same, and that is frozen for the 2 years, but continuing the retention bonus for those 2 years. So we would have a retention bonus in 26, 27 and 27, 28. So we would extend it for 2 more years.
Okay.
No change in insurance. And then the last one is a retention bonus in year one. And then in year two, a 1.5% increase, no retention bonus and no insurance.
Okay, option C, you just said,
No bonus, no insurance.
but it is,
Bonus in the first.
Bonus in the first year.
okay,
So year one, we would maintain the retention bonus
Okay.
as is,
3%.
but reflecting the change in years. And then the 27, 28, no retention bonus, but a 1.5% increase on the wage.
I gotcha. Yep. If you want to caucus, chat about it.
Okay, you want me to hand that other one that I shared with you?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Are you looking at,
Just this one.
okay.
And, okay, well, shall we discuss the holidays first and figure out whether, because we had already talked about giving up the holidays. And so you're looking at what, $10,000 a holiday?
A minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
so that's just for the classified. I didn't figure out what the whole entire district was.
And not that we're talking about that, but the other thing that does is it really has a ripple effect on the school calendar, because we have entertained the idea of having school on those days and could continue to have school or professional development on those days. And if we were to agree to holiday pay on those days,
Then we
that
can't.
that is no longer an option for having school, because we wouldn't have people.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a chance that, and that's part of it, is the folks are not wanting to necessarily always, use up a vacation day or a PD day to cover a holiday.
So this is our package proposal that talks about the retention bonus and where we're looking to go with wages. Taking off, so since we're discussing these kind of in package deals, just to show you where we're at, taking away those 2 holidays off the table was about 10,000 that could maybe be put towards wages. Withdrawing reclassification, that proposal. So no longer seeking at this time to move all paraprofessionals over to type 2. And then we have, similar to your proposal last meeting, it's not a percentage raise, but it is a 25-cent raise on all cells in year 1 and in year 2, with a 3% retention bonus in year 1 and 2.
That might be a little bit easier to read. Walk around.
Why are you passing that? Just slide away.
Okay, so we can do one more ahead.
Thank you.
So I suppose we would package that with the insurance stipends, since the district proposal is also considering that, all financial comes together. I suppose if there were clarifying questions, and then we could probably both break for a caucus.
So with this proposal that you have here, you want 25.1, which you have here, plus this. Or, am I getting that right? So you want 25.1, which is 26, 27, 700, 27, 28, 73 per month, plus the 25%, 25 cents
raise.
per cell, for both columns, and the retention bonus.
Yes. And And we're still, you know, when we look at this, we're looking at hourly rates that are still less than what our friends McDonald's and Taco Bell and a few other places are paying.
So in this proposal, you also have MLK Day and President's Day listed on there. And then withdrawn.
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 Yeah, just showing you the language that we initially were going to come with when we ran out of time last time. And then Patrick, did you were looking at this and you're clarifying next year it would stay.
Yes, at 700, and then the next one would be 7:30. This is.
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure that.
Okay, can we break for a bit?
And would you guys like to use my office? There's
That would be
two here.
wonderful.
It's up to you.
Can we? Yes. Do you want to put a time and then we can just text each other if we are running a little long?
15 minutes, okay?
We can do 15.
Okay.
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 be done before state starts. So,
Okay.
We on?
Yes.
What do you think?
So. What did you think of my sheet, Dave?
Well, can't really see it.
I'll
Negotiating
remember to
line.
make it bigger next time.
Okay,
Okay? I didn't quite care for anything that was on the menu.
okay.
And no matter what I do, on these, it's gonna be a tough sell. You're gonna have 76 probably classified employees that are unhappy. So I would take option B if you gave us a 4% retention with the frozen pay both years.
So does that mean 4% on the current language of the retention bonus? We would just change that percentage to 4%.
Correct.
Okay.
So it would be for the returning employees that are coming back to us. And they would see a 4% retention on the first year where they were frozen, and on the second year where they are frozen and no insurance.
All right, so option B with a 4% retention bonus, just to clarify language, that would be on actual hours worked, not all hours. So it wouldn't be a bonus based on vacation time and those sorts of things, actual hours, that's the
That's
language.
all they've ever gotten in the
Okay,
past.
and that's consistent with what we
With the
are
hours.
understanding.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't expect you to pay a bonus on vacation or PD days or whatnot, but I would certainly on, the time that they've worked, you need to be rewarded at least.
So the language on our package proposal would be, we would strike through our attachment A proposal, and then we would keep our Article 4 proposal 4.17, sorry, because I don't believe that this language is currently in the contract, and it could go under Article 4. It's based, or it's really copied and pasted language with date updates from a previous contract. But as far as the current contract, I don't believe that I see, it used to be in attachment A underneath the salary matrix in the previous contract. And I don't have a copy with me here today, but
Okay, so proposal, I'm just repeating what you said, just so I'm making sure that I understand. Proposing adding 4.17 into language in the contract, 3% This says total earnings for each year. That's where I wanted to say actual hours.
Okay, instead of total earnings,
Yep, actual hours worked.
actual hours worked.
Um,
It would be 4% of actual hours worked.
And honestly, to be careful with, budgets, this would need to sunset at the end of the contract. The retention bonus would need to sunset it.
So that means that every 2 years, we're going to negotiate a retention bonus.
Or wage or something, we would negotiate something, but,
Okay.
this would, lock it into the contract permanently, and I'm not.
I don't, yeah, and I don't, I mean, I just don't want to see it missed in the future. And there's no record of the fact that we've established a retention bonus. I'd like to see it mentioned somehow, another in there, not necessarily maybe by the actual amount, so that the amount can be moved. I would look at minimum 3%. As far as, something that would go into the contract. Can you think of something, Beth?
Well, if, 4% with a sunset at the end of the contract, or you're saying maybe 3%, that doesn't sunset. Is that what you want?
Yeah.
And that would actually.
I mean, I can understand the 4% because this is it's unusual. I mean, there's no raise involved in it, so.
With your option B proposal, was there any idea, or was that with a sunset, the option B?
Yes.
It was.
Yeah.
I think, let's go ahead and just sunset out. Okay. Mhm. Yeah, because at least it's in the contract. I mean, that way, as people leave or whatnot, they know that there was a retention bonus that went on.
Patrick, do you see, you don't see this retention bonus popping up anywhere, do you? You do?
There's an addendum that came out,
Oh.
so once the addendum, that had
That's the language.
that's the.
Okay, so, yes, but that's in a previous contract, however, it's in the
No.
current contract.
This is
now?
an
in the current.
Okay.
Yeah, because this one actually says the retention bonus expires effective as of the end of this contract, 6 months, so we actually have a sunset in there.
Okay.
So we're,
And that's on the website. So,
Okay,
I just printed the one off of what,
yeah, so if you go to, where the CBAs are, there's the CBA right there.
Right.
And right here's the classified CBA addendum.
okay, so it wouldn't need to be in 14.7
Yes.
or 0.17?
Yeah.
Because it's already in the addendum, we would just have to, now, would we keep it as an addendum then?
No, we
Because-
can add it to the thing as long as this was an addendum because at the time of, in the middle of the contract, we added this addendum.
I gotcha.
or maybe a little like, the actual purpose of that addendum was to have changed, was to have changed
Straight retention bonus.
the
Rules and
behavioral analysis or whatever and get them back in on our
Yeah, so but I think it's both valid. This is an addendum to that contract, but I think adding it to the contract makes sense.
Yeah, so
There
I
is-
think that's correct. You do put it into the actual document going forward.
Okay, so it would be 4.17 unless there was another place that is wages, hours, and
So
working
rather than
conditions.
throwing it in there as a
Seemed like that would
percentage, so
be
like, but it's
appropriate.
1.025, it's
Um,
2.5%.
So basically, they
So
only give
how-
you 4% retention.
When we get to
Yeah.
wordsmithing,
And they're-
In there.
can you read
and
off
they're
the
plenty of
sunset language
Which-
later when
Sure,
we're
that
ready
would
to
be-
that, just so we can agree to that? Okay. Okay, all right, so you feel
That's it.
if they would be okay with that, that's our proposal. Okay,
Okay, sorry, we were sidebarring there.
That's all right.
Okay, we're good.
okay, so are we in agreement then that we work with option B, which has no insurance stipend increase? So we'll remain at 700 a month, year one, year two. Frozen wage schedules, year one, year two, a 4% retention bonus in year one and a 4% retention bonus in year two with a sunset clause, end of this contract, June 30th, 2028. And then we'll put this language in the body under Article 4, wages, hours, and working conditions, and we'll create 4.17.
I would like to do a little bit of calculation if possible, so before we get to
Okay. That's something that can be done today.
yeah, we can take a break.
We can take a break. We did some calculations as well, and generally speaking, if we're just looking at one individual, let's say capped out at level 2 in year 2. So step 13, we're looking at option B.
Okay.
So a 4% retention bonus year 1 and a 4% retention bonus in year 2. With a person all the way, down at step 13 in level 2, so making the most on the side matrix.
Okay,
That person would have an increase of about 550 over the span of 2 years total. Between the 3% proposal and the 4% proposal. So that's just for 1%.
Okay.
Okay, how much time do you think you need?
10
Or,
minutes?
okay, and then text me 10 more later. Okay, sounds great, we'll step out.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
This top attachment A, we have not discussed as yet. Is this going to hinge, because there's a few changes that need to be discussed on that. Will this affect the option B outcome here?
Well, yeah,
Okay, so do we want to discuss that first so that you know where we're going?
sure.
Okay. Right, I'm happy. Just get a few things going here for you, for me. And, did we solve the labor relations issue?
We haven't proposed that yet because that's a language change, but it's up to you if you want to discuss that.
Let's talk about the Labor Management Relations Committee first,
Okay,
and then I can go into attachment A, okay? And then we can go from there.
So this is a language update. That we feel is relevant to the first part of your proposal, yeah, attachment A proposal. So the adjustment from 3 to 2 members is just to make it more accessible so that the committee can meet monthly or as often as needed. And then there wasn't any distinction, so I'm curious what the past practices for the district for meetings being scheduled. Is it usually during the contract day?
We haven't had a labor management committee meeting.
And part of, so the reason again why we're taking it down to at least 2 instead of at least 3 is maybe to make it easier to schedule. So that, let's see, it says C shall meet on a monthly or as needed basis. And it may be that monthly is needed, or at least some encouragement for monthly meetings or something similar.
I would be willing to entertain that if it's on a professional development day and there's no students impacted.
Okay, that would be high game. I'm,
We would need to schedule around any professional trainings and things that
right,
those would need to take priority.
absolutely. But at least it's there and set up.
So all this is existing language with just the red language being new. So it's already, the committee shall meet on a monthly or as needed basis at a time established by the parties.
So one of the things that I would want to agree to there is that this is a non-student contact time.
Okay, so meeting shall be scheduled during the contract / professional development day.
Do you have monthly professional development days? Oh, okay. So how would you like that to read? During the professional development day?
I would like it to read that it is at a time when students are not impacted, period.
And then that gives the flexibility of being able to schedule it during a PD day.
Yeah. So
And
with
you're
that,
okay with,
yeah.
with that loss of wages to bargaining unit members? All right, so it's gonna say, meetings shall be scheduled, during a non-student contact day or,
time,
okay, during non-student contact time,
yes.
okay.
Unless it's like within the school year, because otherwise we'd be meeting in July.
Yeah, within the school year.
We have, I go right through.
Can we put that, so the committee shall meet on a monthly or as needed basis within the school year at a time established by the parties? Can we put it there? Okay, all right. So we agree on 2 members appointed by the employer and 2 bargaining unit members. And then C, meetings, the committee shall meet on a monthly or as needed basis within the school year at a time established by the parties. Meetings shall be scheduled during non-student contact time without loss of wages to bargaining unit members. Okay. Did you want to chat about how
Yes.
these are related?
Yes, thank you. First of all, I have to tell you that I was really surprised by the number of our members who are following these meetings as we're working right now. The ones that really surprised me were the folks in the community who have contacted me and said, hey, I saw that thus and so. And I just didn't expect that when we first started out with this. I figured it'd be a little meeting and we'd have everything taken care of. And I didn't realize that I was going to hear from so many different people. So one of the things I did way back when, and this is old for you and Christine, but if you just hand that to Patrick and Mr. Yocum. And I apologize for not sending this out or giving it to you previously, because I've made reference to a few of those job descriptions and things that have gone on in previous meetings. And I didn't want you guys to feel like you weren't 100% in what was going on as far as the reclassification and so on. I was surprised that there was no reference made to Mel Conan's letter that supported the information that I had provided to you. And where Mel stated that the high school paras are doing the same job titles as your behavioral and your academic interventionist and the ARC. And so I was surprised at that. I don't know, maybe I was disappointed, I think, when we first had talked about that. And so I just wanted to let the board know that you're going to be seeing these things coming back to you as far as job descriptions and so on. I know, had to have used our Article 27 back in 2012 and that period of time, because we've had the same exact issue with the kitchen folks. And they had to work out who was going to do what jobs and what was going on. So if you'll just pass the job descriptions for the kitchen staff, that was a pretty good example of how our superintendent at that time and the union got together and put out something that was pretty workable there. Our job descriptions for the paras is sad, to say the least. I don't know if I can set that around when you can compare them. And so when I was looking at what you had put together, Dave. I don't know, I had some pretty strange feelings on it. When you're looking at your, attachment for your proposal,
Mhm.
and you look under type 2, and you say, there was crisis intervention training only on lane or type 2 employee. That is not a fact. Because the paraprofessionals at the high school are taking that exact same training. So that no longer really becomes an item that can be used to differentiate between a type 1 and a type 2. When it says provide directions to other on type 2, nowhere that I saw in the para 1 and para 2 job descriptions does it talk about providing directions or so on. The higher level of independent judgment, I think that is required also by something by the paras or paraprofessional. And so when you're talking about your type 1 personnel, positions are foundational roles that provide essential operational and instructional support. These roles operate under the direct supervision of a building administrator or department leader. Maybe. Type 2 personnel. Positions are defined by elevated responsibilities that exceed the scope of type 1 personnel. These roles require a higher degree of independent judgment and specialized skills, including leadership, coordination, academic attainment, and training, support for students with high intensity behavior. That's going to describe your high school paras. So that's why I wasn't comfortable with this. Just for kicks and giggles, I handed this to somebody and said, read those 2 type of personnel. And they did. And I said, okay, fine. Where would you put me? Oh, well, you're right up there in the type 2 personnel. I said, oh, okay, thanks for the compliment. I appreciate it. And it was, well, why do you ask? And I said, because that's not how I'm considered. I'm in a type 1 situation. That's not me. I mean, when you look at what I'm doing as far as a paraprofessional, and really I am a library media paraprofessional, and you've entrusted almost $1 million worth of assets to me, I don't fit under type 1. And I have to say that the paras at the high school that are working with the kids that have been in the ARC program all the way through, and we've now promoted them to high school students, those kids haven't changed between 8th grade and high school. They still have the same needs, the same, I don't know how to word that, they just have the same requirements that they did when they were in middle school. The only difference is now is their subject matter is more complicated. They have less amount of time to get things finished in a day. They have to kind of blend, they're needing to blend in with all the other students and not create difficulties in a classroom so that you can get your education, going on in there. And I just felt uncomfortable with that. And so the idea between having our labor and management, relations team there, is to solve this problem so that we can come together and have, workable job descriptions. Because on the spreadsheet that, I had the fold out one, I compared each of those job descriptions, such as they are, and, kind of tried to, to lay them out and so on. And so there is a difference. I mean, there really is a difference between the high school paras and what goes on. So I appreciate this as a starting point, but I think it needs more discussion. And I don't know, is that I would be ready to have this attached to the wage schedule as it sits.
Would we be able to caucus and chat about that option B with the 4% and the sunset clause, and then potentially attachment A, reverting essentially back to the type 1 and type 2 that is in the original contract or this current contract, adding, I believe sped tech is, I believe that's the only change. So taking off the definitions at this point, taking off the objectives at this point.
Right. So you just leave it right now where we've always had just lane 1 and lane 2.
But of course, you've got the
Until we
sped tech
can-
certified.
Until we can get together and really polish this up and make it something, to really, I think make the employees feel better. Because it is subjective. I mean, somebody will, oh, hey Pam, you're great. Yeah, your personality, you're a type 2 personnel. Somebody doesn't like me or I've offended them or whatnot. Yeah, you're type 1. Yeah, I got that, and walk away or whatnot. So, I think there's a way to fix it, and we can do it together and be very positive about where we're going and end the discussion about para 1, para 2 type of thing. Because we did it with the kitchen staff in 2011. That was 15 years ago. And the kitchen staff is still happy. Everybody's just, there's not a problem. I'm not hearing anything from any of the kitchens anywhere that they feel that they're not being paid fairly and they're just unhappy with the situation. So I think that we can get that, we can achieve that with the paras.
I'm happy to have labor management and talk through those things. But I will say this, the job descriptions and the jobs is the right of the board to dictate what jobs are available in the school district. And what you're talking about has some connection to hiring and procedural practices. We need to make sure that people are hired for the position that they applied for, and that we are clear about what the job description is and what the wage is.
Right.
I definitely would not want to be in a situation where we're basically negotiating individually with each person based on what they're saying.
Right.
But happy to listen and be part of an effort that makes things more clear.
Mhm.
But I do want to be clear that it's the duty of the board to set jobs and job descriptions.
Right, and so with labor, management working together on this, I think we can get a pretty decent product that we can then hand to the board and say, hey, this is working. If you look at the description for the library media paraprofessional that came from Wisconsin, one of the Wisconsin school districts, their board had approved that. And it was a pretty decent, it's a pretty decent job description in there. The writing that you see, in there that's in red are the changes that Angie Fett felt that needed to be included, because that is part of what is going on with, with what we're working with. So all we would be doing is bringing something very similar for the kitchen, that work for the kitchen staff, for the paras, to the board, so that they can either say, yeah, we like it, you did a great job on that, or, gee, no, we'd like to change this, and this, or, whatnot. I'm just saying that the correction can be done in a very, very positive manner, and I think that we can keep the paras happy. And especially with the fact that there is no raise, it looks like, coming to them for the next 2 years. And they need to be happy. They need to be happy.
I propose we take a little bit of a caucus of 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
In the interest of time, and do we have to?
We
And at
need,
6.
we need to be done at 6.
Okay.
We have a school board meeting at 6:30, so
Okay.
these guys start a board meeting tonight. Why don't we, just take where we are at this particular point and pause,
Mhm.
and then schedule a time to come together again and talk through the last, few details.
Right, okay,
Just to be clear about what our agenda would look like in the next conversation, we would be finishing the conversation about labor management.
correct.
We would be finishing the conversation about the wage package.
Yes,
What else?
I think that would be it, because all we have to do is just clean up this piece of paper, and I think we're in good shape.
Okay. Do we want to put that on a calendar now? We need to go with the originals.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Is Monday a possibility?
Monday's always a good day for me.
I'm looking at Monday, the 18th.
What is awards?
That might be Monday night.
It is Monday, but I don't know what time it is. It might be 6.
Usually 6. I think it does start.
So if we do it 4 or 5, it should be all right.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock Monday.
Yeah.
It's 6.
And it's Monday coming.
The 18th.
Yeah.
You guys okay if we go off?
Yep. All right.